So the question is cirrhosis reversible? Good question, isn't it? Let's cover this topic. Now, let's first talk about the difference between fibrosis and cirrhosis. Fibrosis is the first stage of cirrhosis, and cirrhosis is advanced fibrosis. Basically, it's advanced scarring. So fibrosis is scarring, and the problem with that is the more these little liver cells called hepatocytes get scarred, the less the ability to detoxify they have. And your liver does a lot more than that, so you get a lot of problems throughout the body. And cirrhosis can start out with a fatty liver. It can start out with an inflamed liver. The cause could be viral, alcohol, bad foods, lack of eating good foods, choline. A choline deficiency, for example, can create a fatty liver, which can then lead to eventual cirrhosis. Also, too much iron creates inflammation in the liver, causing scar tissue and eventually too much cirrhosis. So there's a lot of things that can cause cirrhosis. Also, certain drugs will cause cirrhosis as well. Now, how do you know if you have cirrhosis? Because if you have something called compensated cirrhosis, you really don't have many symptoms, at least initially. And then it becomes decompensated, and then you start getting symptoms because the liver no longer is compensating. So you get edema, swelling, usually in the legs, primarily on the right side because the liver is on the right side. You may show decreased cognitive function. You might be in a confusion, loss of memory. Ascites, which is a fluid-filled sac around your gut. That's usually not fat. It's fluid that's accumulating in between things because the liver is draining fluid. Jaundice, that means yellowing of the eyes and the skin. Itchy skin, especially in the bottom of your feet and even in the palms. Poor sleep, especially in the early morning. You're getting up earlier and earlier and you just can't sleep in that well. Darker urine is another symptom of liver disease. So, of course, the more symptoms you have, the more advanced it is. To answer our question, is cirrhosis reversible? If it's mild or moderate, it is reversible. So it really depends on how extensive the scar tissue is. The more scar you have, the less the liver can fully regenerate. But it's amazing how the liver can regenerate at all. But there is going to be a point, if it's too extensive, that there's a point of no return. So then they put you on the liver transplant list, which unfortunately there's not a lot of extra livers to go around. So it might be a good idea to do whatever you can to prevent this situation. Now, what I want to talk about is what you can do if you have cirrhosis to slow things down and maybe even help reverse some of this damage. Most importantly, tocotrienols. It's a type of vitamin E that you can get from the health food store or online. Very powerful antioxidant. It will reduce inflammation and it slows down fibrosis and scar tissue of your liver. Number 2, bile salts. First of all, if you have liver damage, if you have cirrhosis, you do, you're not going to be able to produce the normal bile salts because the liver produces bile. But taking bile salts are anti-fibrotic, so it can slow down the scar tissue of the liver. You can get them from the store as well. Fasting, very, very important because fasting decreases inflammation. And if you do periodic prolonged fasting, it can even increase stem cells that can help you regenerate liver tissue, even if your normal regenerative mechanism is not working. Number 4, vitamin D is very, very important because it's an anti-inflammatory, and anytime you have cirrhosis or fibrosis, you're going to have inflammation. And lastly, probiotics. There's a huge connection between your gut and liver function, especially in reducing inflammation. I did a recent video on this. I put a link down below. There are a lot of other things you can take as well to improve liver function and to actually help support a healthy liver. Sea cucumber is a real good remedy as well to help reduce inflammation and fibrosis. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Before you go, if you have a question about a product or you're new to keto and you want to know how to begin keto, or you're on keto and you need a debug because it's not going as smooth, I have a keto consultant standing by to help you. This is just for the people in the US. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to answer everyone's call. But I put the number down below so you can call and get some help. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto and Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.